I'm going to come back sometime this winter, and I'm going to do exactly what you and I just did, because this is too thick.
Yeah.
This would smother the grass, and so I'm going to make it, take 2/3 of it off and scatter it each side. Same exact thing will happen, right? Feed the earthworms, feed the microbes, and stimulate the soil to actually produce more soil and to produce fertility. Some of the trees that I'm taking out. Crazy the amount of trees that go on this farm. A recent windstorm helped me take out some. You see that? I'm not going to touch this for another month probably. It'll just lay here. It'll be ready for me whenever. And then I can come and scatter it out and feed the soil for, I'm thinking ahead to the spring, summer, next summer, summer after that, to get this where it's self-sustaining again, where I don't have to do this every year. Because I don't have no interest in doing this every year. Right. I have an interest in doing this one time and then it taking care of it for me from then on out. I'm an immediate guy. I want it right now, but you can't have this right now. So if you want this, you got to work for it, and you got to be persistent and patient. 100%. That's helped me with my mental clarity and my ability to go, it's going to be okay. Because I'm like, where's the damn grass? What's going on here? But I got to be patient. I got to keep learning, keep tweaking, and then ultimately just take a daily dose of vitamin P, which is patience. Patience, man. Got to have it. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're doing things more naturally and more ancestrally appropriately, you're going to have to learn patience. Being out here, you got to be patient, because none of this stuff happens fast. And I think probably even 200 years ago, patience was just baked into the cake. Because you grew up this way. That's not going to happen again until next spring. You're not going to have blackberries again until late next summer. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You can cry about it, but it's not going to change anything. But you just learn from a young child, I've got to wait till next summer for the blackberries. And that's just how it is. And if you don't like it, ain't nobody wants to hear that but your mama, and she don't want to hear it either, because she got to wait too. And so I think we used to have patience built into us by our environment, and now it's like our environment actively tries to discourage us from developing any patience whatsoever. Because that might decrease profits if you actually put off a purchase. And so nobody wants you to have patience these days. But I would recommend that you develop some patience, because I think it pays off long term.
There's a saying that I love, good health makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of dollars. And when I was hearing you and Will speak about the non-scalability, if you really wanted to go down to doing the type of farming that we're talking about here, you have to stay in your neck of the woods if you're trying to go that route. And that is such an important thing.
Because it obviates the big four meat producers. It makes them obsolete, because you're going to have a regional guy. Maybe I'll be the regional guy with beef and sheep here. And if you live within 100 miles of me, this is where you'll come for beef and sheep. But then 200 miles from here, there's another Will Harris, there's another Ken Berry, there's another Greg Judy. So, hey, I've got 500 acres here. I've got all these sheep and pigs and cattle. Let's make a deal. And when enough people remember that's how it's supposed to be, that's actually sustainable. That's actually very resilient, because if something wipes out JBS or Archer Daniels Midland or any of the big companies that are all about agriculture and ranching and meat, you're screwed. Unless you went back to the regional, the county system, where there's a farmer in the county, he's got the cows, another farmer got the pigs, another farmer got the eggs. It makes the country more resilient. You can't just attack one thing and hurt us globally in the whole country. You hurt those people, but you didn't hurt me down here in Tennessee, or you didn't hurt her up in New Hampshire. You didn't hurt him down in Texas. We're still going. We're still cooking. But if we're all waiting on the trucks to arrive with the stuff that's shipped from who knows where, produced by who knows who, containing who knows what, it only takes one key attack. You've destroyed the whole pipeline. There ain't nothing coming for months. And you can fast for a long time, but for most people, fasting for months is going to be a problem. And so that's one of my big messages is every county in the country needs multiple little farms. I'm doing sheep, I'm doing goats, I'll do the quail, you do this, I'll do that. And then we all come together and we trade what we got. And we can use money or we can barter. Either way, I don't care, because everybody still wins. If there's some virus comes in and wipes out the chicken population, we still got quail, sheep, cows, pigs. Wipe out the cows, we still got quail, sheep, chickens, geese, ducks. We still got all this stuff, not to mention the wildlife that's all going to love this. Nature's dad, the big deer hunter, turkey hunter. So this field is a great example when humans muck around too much. Every year, him and his buddy would come down here with the turning plow. They would plow this up, then they would change and put a disc, and they would disc it up. They would put some nitrogen and phosphorus on it, then they would sow it with clover for the deer, right, and the turkey. This entire farm is going to be a never-ending food plot. That's the goal, is that it's going to be a food plot that you don't have to plow every year and put NPK on it every year and put $1,000 worth of clover seed every year. You're not going to have to do that anymore. It's going to do it all itself. That's the thing, is a lot of people don't understand that. Wild turkey are going to come, the deer are going to come, the rabbits, the squirrel, the raccoon, the possum, the skunk, the beavers just over the hill. They're going to come back to that stream and dam that stream up, which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It's good for the environment. Now the official decision is we've got about 60 farm cycles left until we're out of topsoil.
Wow.
And there's no coming back from that. It'll take a decade to come back. So then you fast for a decade. Come on, you know? So there are many things that nature's much better at us because it's had the trial and error of millions of years to figure out the best way. And you can't come along and do a 2-month study and say, oh no, this is better than nature's millions of years of experimentation. That's foolish on its face if you think about it like that, and that's going to lead to failure on a grand scale.
Would you say that it also leaves very little room for faith, for understanding, for patience, all the things we just talked about? Because what we're talking about is take that shortcut directly to the thing that we want. And when we don't have the adversity, when we don't have to go through the trouble of doing this, we don't have to do that, it cuts out or shortchanges our minds from having that ability to have that faith.
You suffer. You don't develop that muscle, that patience muscle, that fortitude muscle, that grit. I'm not going to give up. And you know, not much happened this year. Well, I'm not going to give up. I'm looking at next year. I'm looking 5 years down the road. You got to do that. And so even that foresight you develop that muscle. But the spiritual muscle, how you can be out here every day.
You know, it's amazing when you allow nature to just do what it has to do, to get out of the way of nature. I think human beings were always stepping in the way, whether it's because we want innovation, we want better results, faster results, whatever it is. But when we allow nature to do what it has to do, it's amazing what happens in our lives, metaphorically and out here on the field.
People don't realize nature is one giant trial and error experiment after another, constantly for millions of years, right? And when nature's had that long to experiment, for us to come along and think, oh, we can do a 2-month study on this pasture versus that pasture. Okay, then we need to use this application, this supplement, this pesticide, this herbicide. It's foolishness. Literally kindergarten thinking to think that your 2-month study is somehow going to trump what nature's trial and error over millions of years has figured out this is the best way. Our grandparents became in love with what I call scientism, which is an almost religious belief that just trust the science and we'll figure this out. It's going to be much better than nature would ever provide. It's modern. It's new, right? That's always going to lead to trouble. Now, I'm not opposed to technology, as you know. I use it all the time, but in metered amounts and in specific situations. But when it comes to this, you got to honor nature with this stuff, or you will fail and fail miserably and fail completely and fail permanently. You got to remember the old way. I can't tell you how many books I've read about farming and ranching and trees and grass from the 1920s.
Wow.
Before we had all the tractors. How did you do it back then? 1910, 1900. How did they do this back then? And they didn't have electric fence. They didn't have solar chargers. They didn't have step-in plastic posts. How they did it's a lot different than I do it, but the basic principles, you had to honor nature. Honor the pasture, honor the animal, honor the soil, or you starve to death. And back then, you did starve to death. That was just what it was.